Help me, Texas. You're my only hope. If you're a normal person, then you do not want Ohio State to win the national championship. If you're a Michigan fan like me, then you really don't want that to happen. And unfortunately, three of the four remaining teams are Michigan's rivals to some degree. Cool. Awesome. This is great.
This is the worst.
Ohio State and Notre Dame are two of the most hated teams in college football. I live in the South. And so for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, I've heard about how the SEC is so dominant. The Big Ten is overrated. Ohio State's overrated. Michigan's overrated. Who do they play? They don't play nobody. I've heard that for years and years. I think that unless you're an Ohio State fan, you pretty much hate Ohio State. I think that's a common sentiment. And Notre Dame has been one of the most hated teams in college football for as long as I can remember. And kind of the same deal with living in the South and people saying that, Notre Dame's overrated, which they pretty much have been. You don't have to live in the South to know that. They haven't really shown up in big games in a long time until recently when they just beat Georgia. Aside from all of the overrated accusations, Ohio State and Notre Dame have two of the worst fan bases. Now, look, I understand that every team has horrible fans. Michigan usually ranks pretty high on the most hated fan bases, too, so I understand. There are bad fans for every team, and there are good fans for every team. I'm sure there are some good Ohio State fans out there. I'm sure there are some good Notre Dame fans out there, but I still hate you.
I can't stay mad at you. Look at that punum.
Ohio State Notre Dame has to be the least desired championship, right? Nobody wants to see that. Unless you're an Ohio State or Notre Dame fan, you don't want to see that. And I would think that number two would probably be Ohio State against Penn State. I think a little piece of me would die if that were the case. Ohio State, if they won the national championship in a year where they lost to Michigan, it would just be so strange. I'm sure they would be happy, of course, but there has to be a small part of them that would be like, but we didn't beat Michigan, though. And Penn State winning would just be gross. Their own fans don't know if they love or hate James Franklin since he got there. Some years they like him, some years they don't. They want him fired. They want him, give him a 10-year extension. And even after the game when they lost to Ohio State 2 months ago, there were fans who were arguing with James Franklin after the game.
You're gonna be man enough to talk. What's your name?
We don't want that rematch. Texas, we need you. We need you to win it all. We don't want Ohio State. We don't want Penn State. We don't want Notre Dame. So hook them, I guess.
All right.
And no matter what happens, I'm going to leave this video up. Go Blue.